Welcome back, Tiger fans, to Rockin' Radio's football podcast. I'm Nate Edwards. That's Nathan Hurst. This is Before the Box Score, your post Murray State victory edition. If you haven't heard, the Tigers valiantly vanquished the very bad Murray State Racers. 51-0. First shutout in an opening game since 1998. Probably the most one-sided FCS game that Eli Drinkwitz has been a part of as a Missouri football coach. And the thing was over in like 7 minutes. So, hey, it was just great to have football back on the television. And, of course, it was great for Nathan to sit under the speakers and scream his eyes out. Share your voice so that everyone can hear how hoarse you are.
I mean, at this point, I'm less hoarse and more, the Barry White way down low. This will probably be the best that my voice sounds after a game this season. So enjoy it while it lasts, because future post-home games will be a lot scratchier even than this one is.
Or Missouri just takes care of business at home and you're never concerned about anything, and you don't need to scream about a thing because they just are so good.
I probably would still find something to yell about.
Sure. You can't play Murray State every game, and boy, it would have been nice, but you can't. 51-0. 51-0. We're just going to kind of run through this because, again, the only thing you can learn from an FCS game is bad stuff. And we didn't really learn anything bad, per se. There were things that weren't great. But for the most part, it's really hard to be picking nits in a 51-0 victory when almost everybody escaped healthy, or at least long-term health. And, again, 51-0. So let's start with quarterback. I think that's been probably the most talked about post-game, so much so that the broadcast even pulled Brady Cook off the sideline and talked to him afterwards, and specifically talked about the deep ball. Hurst, I am of the camp that I'm not concerned yet. And I know that's probably not the fun hot take that everybody wants to hear from a podcast. But I want you to go first. Tell me what you thought about Brady Cook yesterday.
He was fine. He was clearly, jacked up. He's been waiting for this season since the very end of the Cotton Bowl 9 months ago almost. So I think he came out. He was, I think, prepared physically, but mentally was just overstrung. Where you string a bow, pull it back. He's been pulling that bow back for eight months, and he finally let it go, and that sucker went, and it went a little too far, and he'll dial it in. He'll get it back. I bet next week that he hits at least 2 long passes. His intermediate range accuracy was good. It was fine. He didn't throw any passes where I'm like, oh well, that should have definitely been picked if it were a competent defensive team playing against him. So he didn't put the ball in danger. It went, I thought, where it should have gone. When he had an open receiver down the field, he threw it at that guy. When he had other guys that were open, he was finding the right guy. So the stuff that could portend something negative looked fine. The fact that he overcooked 3 long balls on the first game of the season didn't worry me, especially since those guys were wide open. That's the good part. They were what they should have been, which was wide open. Sometimes just mentally, you see the guy, they're like, oh, I can't mess this up. Oh, I threw it way too far, because they were so wide open. So I'm not worried. I honestly wouldn't be worried if he had a similar performance next week and still kept, protected the ball, put the ball where, threw it to the right receivers at the right times. His timing seemed fine. It was just throwing it too hard. And he was just excited and amped up like we all are, or all were. So beyond that, he'll be fine.
I get emails from readers, and I love them. I love interacting with you guys. And I got several this morning. I woke up, rubbed my sleepy eyes, and read, not hostile, just, is Brady Cook regressing? Is this 21 Brady Cook? Is this, should we be concerned? And, like I said on the onset, no, I don't think so. Whether he's just amped to play football again, maybe he was just really determined to avenge the death of Ted Drews, or maybe he's just, a college football player who spent an entire offseason hearing, everything's great, you are going to be great. And sometimes that affects how you do things. I don't want to, play armchair psychologist here, But in college, think back to, Chase Daniel in 08. Think about Johnny Manziel, 14. When you spend an entire offseason being told how great you are, that can affect how you view things. That can affect your decision making and how what your mechanics are. And college football coaches, especially the college level, do everything they can to mentally stabilize. There we go. These guys, they control what they intake from a media, from a food, from a exercise, so that they can keep that mentality where they want it. And it's just so hard to do at that age. Yeah, he cooked him, man. Wow, Brady overcooked it. And I looked back. I've been charting the game so far. I have 5 passes that were just misaimed. And yeah, it wasn't the receiver fell down. It wasn't the receiver was in the wrong spot. It's not that he made a poor read. He just biffed it. Do that against Murray State. That's what this game is for. To remember, oh yeah, this is what it's like live fire. I am not concerned. Again, this is basically a scrimmage. This is what this game is for, to figure out what you need to correct. And just on a larger scale, I think this is a perfect game, because you got out to a huge lead. Your quarterback gave a B- performance. You fell asleep in the second quarter. You did enough to like it and win comfortably, and you gave enough for Eli Drinkwitz to coach. Boy, could you ask for more from your FCS game? And you're in no danger of losing. And oh, by the way, you shut them out. So I think,
and you played at like 78 players off of your roster.
Yeah, I was like 73, 74, something like that. So I think Brady Cook's performance is a perfect encapsulation of this entire thing. Are there things to improve upon? Yeah, man. Is it the first game of the year? Yeah, that's kind of why you play this game. And remember, this schedule is beautiful and exactly how I would construct it, because it goes bad FCS team, bad G5 team, bad Power 4 team, bad SEC team. This is why it's here. This is the benefit. So and at the end of the day, even with 5 misaimed throws, he finished 63% completion rating and a 7.3 yards per average. For context, that would be kind of the bottom quartile of last year's performance, better than Ohio State, better than Arkansas, but like worse than LSU, worse than Vanderbilt, all that stuff. So I'm not concerned about it. And we saw him run twice, which was great.
And he hits one of those long passes that he overcooked, and that average goes from 7.3 yards per attempt to 9.5, and it looks a lot better. I mean, he was 140-yard pass, and there were 3 of them there for him. He was hitting one of those from his numbers are going to heck of a lot better even than they already did, which are just fine. They're not going. Those aren't numbers that are going to win you a ball game, but they're also not numbers that are going to lose you a ball game.
I can do the math right now. If he completed one of those 40-yard passes, his average would have gone from 7.3 to 8.6.
Yeah, and that's a little more palatable. 7.3 is not really where you want it to be down the road, but it'll get there.
Yeah. So it was not perfect, but there's nothing a football coach loves more than something that he gets to coach. And same for Brady Cook, man. Like, he's going to hit the reps. He's going to be working on that deep ball. He was clearly frustrated, and it didn't cost you anything. Well, cost you the $250,000 you paid to Murray State, but whatever. So that's quarterback. What did you think of Drew Pine?
He was fine. He was accurate. He hit the receivers. They didn't really. It was hard to really tell because of the play calls. Yeah. They weren't going to be throwing it downfield. Understandably, you're not going to show the other team up at that point in the game. But he looked decisive. He knew where he was going to go with the ball. He threw there and he hit the receiver that he was throwing at, and they caught him. I think there was one. He had one incompletion on the night out of about 10-ish passes, if I'm 10 or 11.
10 and I think for 11 for 82
yards. And even that one was a fine throw. I think the receiver dropped that more than anything. So he looked good. He did kind of give up at what I thought he could have had a rushing touchdown there in the third quarter down on the goal line. He took a strange route. He was running right at me. I was standing in that north end zone, and we thought the pathway looked wide open for him, and he kind of cut outside instead of inside. And maybe that was more of a, I don't really want to get hit by the safety crossing the goal line on a 5-touchdown game, but I would also take that same tack as well. They ended up scoring on that drive anyway, so it didn't really matter. But he did what we hoped that we would see out of him in that point of the game.
Yeah. Feeling good about quarterbacks. They did not ask Drew Pine to do a lot, and he was fine. The one pass that he missed was a crossing route over the middle to Daniel Blood. Would have been a touchdown, just a little outside his hands. That's all. So that was quarterback. Running backs, I think, coming into the season, we all were feeling bullish about Nate Noel and Marcus Carroll. We just didn't know how that would translate. I would argue we still don't know how it translates, but boy, I like what I saw against FCS competition. What was your big takeaway from those two?
Yeah, I mean, they both look great. It's going to be very hard from the stands to tell the difference because of their number 8 and number 9.
Yeah.
They certainly run different, and if you see them up close, they look different. Carroll's a bigger guy, but not so much bigger that from 100 yards away you can really tell between 8 and 9. They have similar speed and quickness. So I think they're going to be a great 1-2 punch for sure. Carroll has a little more wiggle than I kind of expected out of him, to be honest. I thought that was more of Noel's running style, but they both had it, and I think they'll be able to be used pretty interchangeably. I did love how often they lined up Noel wide as a receiver, especially in the 2-minute drill that they ran at the end of the second quarter. Had several catches out there, line him up at the far end of the formation closest to the boundary, hit him for a 5-6 yard pass, and he caught it every time. And then I imagine eventually we'll start seeing him motion back into the backfield, take handoffs that way, or they'll motion him out and they'll quickly go from a 4-wide set to a 5-wide set, and then all of a sudden the defense doesn't really know what's going on. So I liked the flexibility that he provides and shows that he can do a lot of different things, which will be make Kirby Moore's job a lot more interesting. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think heading into this, kind of just from a type standpoint, when you kind of think of their size, their style, that sort of thing, we all kind of figured Nate Noel would be more of a Tyler Beatty, catch the ball, run the ball, be fast, that sort of guy, and Marcus Carroll will be kind of more of a Cody Schrader. It's like, hey, you can hand it off to him, 50 times, and he'll take the hits and keep going. But heading into this, Marcus Carroll was much more prolific receiver than Nate Noel was. He targeted more. He had better catch rates, better yards per catch. Like, yeah, he's a stockier dude, but he was used more in the pass game at Georgia State than Nate Noel was in App State. But they were both doing just fine. They both had multiple targets throughout the game. Reliable hands. They didn't really drop anything, and they were open. Now against FCS, but they were there. So I like that aspect. Cody Schrader was great on the ground, and he was good through the air. Obviously, ask Tennessee, but you didn't see him utilized that way all that much. Now you still have great receivers, so you don't need to, but it's nice to have that threat and see it lined up so that you're telling everybody, hey, watch out. This guy is good. What I really, really liked, I'm kind of hiding the ball here. We saw 5 running backs carry the ball, including Jamal Roberts, who was MIA last year, Tavoris Jones, who's been MIA since stepping on campus, and then dear old Quan Lacey, our blue chip running back from Texas. All of them got carries. All of them got extended carries. Jamal Roberts scored a touchdown. I loved it. Now, again, it's Murray State. They are bad, but boy, I was very impressed with what those younger guys could do.
Yeah, and Jamal Roberts got playing time in the early second quarter, if not late first quarter, which I was very surprised. Now he didn't get a carry until the third quarter, but he was coming in on passing downs as the pass protecting running back. So it's clear that they like his blocking ability more than Noel and Carroll at this point, which is great for you, Roberts. I mean, that's how he's gonna get on the field, is as a blocking running back that can catch a little swing pass from here and there. That's great. That'll get him on the field more. Not only did 5 running backs carry the ball, 8 total players carried the ball, which if you had asked me to put the over under on that before the game, I would have set it at 5 and ended up at 8. So that's great. I loved it. Lacey looked really exciting. Now, once again, that's at late in the fourth quarter against a very beleaguered and downtrodden Murray State that just wanted to get out of there by that point. He did. But he looked really exciting when he was holding the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
We're not going to see a ton of him this year, I can't imagine, but he's flashing what could be exciting down the road.
Yeah. Noel and Carroll are gone next year. So without portal additions, your running back stable is Roberts, Jones, and Lacey. I mean, I'm good with that now. I'd love to see them against tougher competition, but I liked what I saw. I liked that I saw them, because for 4 years we've been saying play your young guys, and Drinkwood says no, games are for playing and winning, practice is for practice. So very excited to see that. The receiver end, like, I mean, what can you say? You had a quarterback who was kind of arm punting a few here and there. They really, really wanted to get a deep shot, either to Luther or to Speedy Johnson, and it was not in the cards that night. Anything really stand out to you other than the misses on the deep balls?
No, I mean, the starting guys were good. No one dropped any passes. Everyone seemed like they were running the right routes. I mean, that's really all you can ask for in this game. Luther Burden still continues to disallow the first person attempting to tackle him. That never happens. He is literally never tackled by the first guy that's trying to tackle him, which is just a remarkable stat that I'm sure isn't entirely true, but it's probably 99% true if you go back and track it all. Everything else about what we expected. There's only so much that they can do when the quarterback's not on his A+ game, which he wasn't today. We've already talked about that.
Yeah.
They were fine. They were good. A little worried about Weiss and Norfleet getting banged up just a little bit. Sounds like it's not a huge deal. Norfleet had a shoulder injury. No real specifications as to how serious that was, other than Drinkwit said he wasn't worried about it. Weiss, I saw kind of. He apparently had a hip injury, which I could kind of tell. He was kind of stretching it out and looking a little, not comfortable. He didn't look like he was in major pain, but he didn't look super comfortable there late in the second quarter. And so they just pulled him out too, I think, just as precaution. There's no use getting him out there when they could just stretch him out and let him heal up here in 10 days and get him back on the field. So I'm a little more worried about Norfleet, just because with shoulders, you never know what that's going to be or how long that's going to last. I think Weiss will be fine. Hopefully they both will.
I mean, it wasn't a big hit. That doesn't mean anything. A lot of those little ones can sneak up on you and be a long-term problem. But watching it, a couple times at this point, he got hit and then he landed a little funky and he kind of got up and just started doing this, and I decided that was it. So yeah, I don't know what that means. But again, you have 4 games where you are heavily favored. You should be able to win without them. So if this is the time, if you're concerned, sit them. I will say, just given the opponent, I was underwhelmed with the receiving core. And I think part of that was just you expected some deep bombs. This guy goes back to Brady Cook. Short stuff, great. Mid game, great. Deep shots, not there. Really, your only big pass was Mookie Cooper went for 40.
And that was a broken tackle and a nice run on Mookie's part.
All yak. But it was great for him. I think there's one other pass, and I think it might have been Daniel Blood, who, by the way, stepped up admirably. He had, I think, the most targets on the night. Now, I think part of that is he's a second teamer and he was replacing Theo. But he was targeted a ton, and he did pretty well with those targets. So I like that. You were hoping for some core memories from your top 3, and you really didn't get that. So that's okay. We'll get him next week. And then it comes down to offensive line. Like we talked about, the left side was the best side last year. You returned your entire right side, and then you had some impact transfers on the left. Caden Green was called for a couple holding penalties. Cameron Johnson had a false start, as he usually does. Other than that, it seemed like they were doing exactly what they should do against an FCS opponent that was clearly overmatched. What were your takeaways on that?
Yeah, I mean, Cook was never once under any sort of pressure the whole half that he played, which is great. I mean, I think he only got touched twice. Once was on his touchdown run, and once was on a roughing the passer penalty. So other than that, he was clean, which is great. That's really all you can ask for, is keep our quarterback clean on these types of games. The penalties will get cleaned up, hopefully. I mean, we said that about Cameron Johnson last year. I guess he was better in the second part of the year. Those will get cleaned up as it's the first game of the year. No snap infractions today, which is great. Now the first team line only played the first half of the game, and then the first half in a drive really of the game. So there wasn't a full game's worth of opportunities for that, but we're going to take baby steps. Game 1 in the books, no snap infractions. We'll see if we can go for 2 games in a row next week.
We'll see. And then, we'll move over to the defensive side. Obviously, there's a lot of new names, new faces at key positions, including the coordinator spot. We asked a lot of questions this offseason, mostly focused around the secondary, a little bit on the defensive line, and I shut them out. Like I said, I was charting Murray State this afternoon. Nathan Hurst, do you know how many total passing yards they finished with? Do you know?
I just looked at it before we started here, and it was less than 30.
Yeah.
28. Yeah, it was less than 30.
28 passing yards. You take away the sacks, they finished with 14 net passing yards, or 0.8 yards per attempt and 4 yards per completion, with a 17% success rate throwing the ball. 17.
Yeah, I mean you can't ask for more dominant showing than that. Now, how much of that is the fact that Murray State's quarterback didn't seem to be super great? Their receivers weren't very good. Their offensive line didn't exist. They didn't have a whole lot going for them on their end, but at the same time, through an entire game, you're going to expect once or twice someone's going to fall down. There's going to be a receiver open. You're going to get a 25-yard pass and then recover after that and still stop them. That didn't happen. No one fell down, or if they did, their buddy was right there to back them up. The longest play I think that Murray State had on the night was a 9-yard play.
9 yards.
There wasn't even a first down. They never ran a play and got a first down on one play. It always took more than one play to get a first down, which is crazy. That's crazy.
Correct. The Murray State offense was basically the football equivalent of an infomercial on something that you can't do, right? That's all it was, just hilariously tripping over your own dick and capable of doing the most simple things. Now, part of that, I think, to your point, is the offensive line. Not a single person on that offensive line is taller than 6'4". Most of them are around 6'1", 6'2". And only one of them weighs more than 290 pounds. And you're going up against an SEC defensive line, which last show we talked about how many of them are over 300 pounds. So that's part of it. Height and weight's not everything. Obviously, there's some talent there. And to your point, I don't think their quarterback had it. He came up from South Dakota School of Mines and seemed a little bit overwhelmed with what he was seeing, which, sorry, man, I don't know what to tell you. They tried to protect him. They called 15 passes for him. He went 7 of 13 for 28 yards on 2 sacks. The 1.9 yards per attempt without considering the sack yardage in there. There's just nothing they could do. They tried to run the ball and that wasn't going to work. They ran 49 plays over 12 possessions. They went 3 and out. The only times they didn't go 3 and out, twice. Okay. They averaged 1.8 yards per play, which is not even video game. That's just comical. Okay. They had no scoring opportunities. They ran 3 plays past Missouri's past the 50-yard line, and they averaged 7.2 yards per possession. Didn't even average a first down per possession. They stunk.
Yeah, it was bad. And I mean, it's really, in these types of games, it's just impossible to tell, how bad they were, how well the defense played. I think it's somewhere in the middle, because the defense looked fast. Now Murray State looked slow, but the defense looked fast. They looked like they had a lot of speed on the field. There were times when the interior of the defensive line looked very dominant. I mean, Chris McClellan just ate a dude on 2 straight plays, which was pretty awesome to see. Didn't have, 2 sacks is okay. I would have liked to see a couple more if we're talking about this level of competition.
But they didn't. They
were getting rid of the ball really fast,
and they didn't pass. They just stopped doing it.
Yeah. At some point early in the third quarter, they just we're going to run it 3 times and punt it and just keep the clock moving.
Yeah.
It was good. The secondary locked them up as much as it's possible when they're not really running routes downfield anyway. So not a whole lot to glean beyond that, other than Marvin Burks is going to hurt somebody at some point this season. That dude likes to lay the wood.
Mm-hmm.
And he likes to tell people that he laid the wood. I was thoroughly enjoying him getting all hyped up every time he would hit somebody, which is quite enjoyable. The other thing was Khalil Jacobs and Corey Flagg look really fast.
Yeah.
Like really fast. I knew Jacobs was fast. Flagg, it almost looks like he's lost a little bit of weight since he left Miami. I don't know if the actual numbers will show that or not, but he looked really fast running around there as well. So that's exciting to have 4 guys, which we'd already talked about how they're going to play 4 guys at the linebacker, but to have 4 guys that fast and potentially that disruptive is really exciting.
I mean, it's tough, sport information directors are not always going to be the most accurate here. To wit, Corey Flagg was listed at 6 foot at Miami all 4 years he was there. Magically, he shrunk 2 inches when he came to Missouri and is now 5'10". So, whatever. But it says, he's been slowly gaining weight, 215, 220, 225, 230, 233 this year. But to your point, I mean, that play where he knifed right through the offensive line on a pitch, it's designed to remove that sort of thing, that potential outcome. And he made it happen. They lost 2 yards on it. Very quick. They had a great sense for what was going to happen. And considering how much Eli Drinkwitz talked about, they did not know what this team was going to do. They figured it out very quickly what they wanted to do. And that was it. So very impressive on the linebackers. I would agree. Cool moment of the night, Toriano Pride, that interception, that pick 6. It's like taking it to the house. Welcome back home. Like you just, hello, everything that, and karmic justice, everything is right in the world for you. And, I talked about at the beginning of the season that the turnovers had been a problem for the defense the past couple of years. You just didn't see it as much. You had 1 interception, you had 1 fumble recovery.
And both of those were very much forced. There wasn't just a drop, our fumble, which was very much unforced. Zion Young coming off the edge on that, and that directly led to that interception. If the quarterback hadn't got rid of the ball half a second earlier, he was going to have had his head taken off. And then Pride was right in the right spot to snag it and take it the rest of the way. And then Chris McClellan just eating souls. I was surprised the ball came out and not the guy's head falling off. I mean, it was he knocked the crap out of him. So it's fun. It's fun to see forced turnovers. Those are just that much more enjoyable to see.
Absolutely. So then, we get to the question was special teams, and specifically our kicker, our dear thinner kicker. Is that where we're going this year? I don't know. Blake Craig, redshirt freshman, 9 kicks he was called upon to make. Made all 9. Now, none of them were like super pressure filled or like seemed like incredibly difficult. Doesn't matter. In his first game as the big boy starting kicker, he was asked to make 9 kicks for points, and he made all 9. I don't even care about the kickoff going out of bounds. Don't care about that. Again, that's what this game is for. 9 kicks, 9 successful makes. How do you feel about Blake Craig after game 1?
It was good. I mean, he did what he needed to do. The 1 kick out of bounds notwithstanding, every other kick off he had was out the back of the end zone, which is awesome. Love to see that.
Yep.
And if he's kicking it off, how many times did he kick it off? 9 times, 10 times. Yep. And I will trade 8 out the back of the end zone for 1 out of bounds every game. If he's kicking off that, that ratio, it evens out where you're not keeping the ball out of the hands of playmakers. And maybe, once I get it on the 35, that's fine.
Yeah.
No problem there. So I'll take that. None of his field goals were super challenging. He did have, I think the longest one, he was a 40-ish yarder, 42-yarder. Made it, wasn't particularly close to not making it. So good. I mean, that's what you want your freshman kicker to do. Start building that confidence one brick at a time.
Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, from a coaching standpoint, you didn't have any obvious gaffes. I know Eli had some F bombs to drop when the 2-minute warning hit. And they didn't run a playoff when they had 13 seconds to do so and didn't. Immediately cut to him saying some naughty potty words, but whatever. It's the first game of that. Didn't hurt anything. I'm not super concerned. From a coaching standpoint, I mean, I know he went into this week. I think he was asked directly, "Are you going to use the entire playbook?" And he said yes, and he did not. There's not a ton of creativity other than the botched swinging gate push pass that was fumbled. Which whatever, who cares? You did not really
I'm still
see
not
a whole lot.
convinced that wasn't an incomplete pass, by the way.
It was absolutely an incomplete
I
pass.
don't know why they didn't challenge that.
That's the entire point of running that play, is that if
Right.
it is dropped, it is an incomplete pass. I don't know. I mean, this is not the game to challenge it, I guess, but yeah, we're not getting rid of that. And then they did it again for Daniel Blood, and he had the same issue. It was too high up in his face. Now, luckily, he was able to corral it and turn it into 9 yards, but they're going to run that play. Okay. Maybe not that set with the offensive line shifting all the way to the sideline, but they are going to run that play for the rest of the year because it works and it's safe. But you really did not see a lot of creativity. The runs were very straightforward. The passes were very close to the line. Obviously, you had a few deep shots, but everybody knows that's an option now. So showing that doesn't rock the boat, doesn't make defensive coordinators start sweating. I'm really curious what the playbook looks like against BC, against Vanderbilt, and especially against Texas A&M. I guess mostly I'm asking, what are they holding back? And there's no answer for that. But if you can win without showing the whole hog, that's how you do it.
Yeah, I mean they got what they wanted out of it. They didn't have to sweat too much, try too hard. And yeah, by the time they got to the third and fourth quarter, it was little slants and runs up the middle and get out of here, as fast as we can. So
yeah.
Yeah, I would say the playbook looked more open than it did last year against Middle Tennessee State.
Sure.
And that could be because they learned a valuable lesson in that endeavor that, you around and find out, they got pretty close to that. So it was a little more open, a little more, at least downfield than the last year, but it was pretty vanilla, all things together, all things told.
And they were clearly holding back the deep passes last year. That was their whole thing. They're just waiting for K-State to unleash that one. So again, it's out there. They know it. Couldn't connect, not this time, but that doesn't mean it won't happen in the future. So, I mean, across the board, you can pick at things, I suppose. But even if it wasn't your A+ effort, I think everybody was fine. It was the first game of the year against a clearly overmatched foe. And, to your point, there wasn't any broken plays. There wasn't any bad decisions. There wasn't any turnovers. There weren't any grievous missed tackles. It was just 28 passing yards, 0 points, no scoring opportunities for the other team. I'm pleased. I was bored. Yeah. I was pleased.
It was. I definitely would give an A+ grade on the defense. There's nothing else you can ask of how they played. Now, maybe you adjust that for the opponent and give them an even A. But for Corey Batoon's first game on the job, there's not a whole lot else you can ask for. And the fact that Drinkwitz pointed out at the end of the game, the last drive or two, there were 10 freshmen on the field. That 10 of the 11 were freshmen, which is awesome. That's really awesome. I mean, I think a total of 28. I went through and added up. 28 players played on defense,
That's awesome.
Which is incredible. That's what we were asking for leading up to the game over and over again. Please play the young guys. We don't need the starters the whole time. We got that. Not only do we get that, we got that after one drive in the third quarter, they were out, which I was shocked. I was like, whoa, wow, this is what? Whoa.
Yeah.
It was great. It was awesome. That's what we want. We want to get the first string out of there so they don't get hurt. We want the young guys in there so they can start, building a resume and getting some experience and just feel like they're a part of the team. And we got that. And that's all that we can ask for in a game like this.
Yeah. There's 11 guys on defense. That means 33 dudes on the 3 deep, and they don't go 3 deep on everything. So basically they played everybody that they would play. That's super cool. Haven't been able to say that for the past 5 years. So excellent.
I mean, we even saw Justin Botford, and he wasn't even on the 3D.
Yeah.
And he was
Yeah.
he got
Throw
on
him
the
out
field.
there. Yeah. It's great. Oh, man. It's nice to win comfortably, man. And then you get to spend all of tomorrow or Saturday, whenever you guys hear this, watching football without a care in the world, without a single care because your team already won.
I've got a Coors Light and Georgia Clemson just waiting for me at 11 a.m. Saturday morning. It's there. I've got a date.
That's great. Did you watch any other games last night?
I got home. I did leave a little early from the game. I left at the end of the third quarter. I wanted to see if they played Mr. Brightside, which they did.
You did.
With a very strange voiceover in it. That just is strange. It's just weird. Kind of cringe, to be honest. It's kind of like either play the song or don't, but don't do that. Anyway, they did that, left, got home, saw the end of some game. Actually, the Mizzou game was still on when I got home. So I saw the last 2 minutes of the Mizzou game when I got home. Then kind of the end of the Colorado game too, just because was interested. It got very hairy, but my call of taking the Bison and the points worked out because ended up being a 6-point game. So you're welcome.
Be thankful every day that Deion Sanders is not your football team's head coach. Did you watch Arkansas at all?
That was well out of hand before I even left the Faroe. So it sounds like they didn't take their starters out.
No, I think they wanted to get the reps with Bobby Petrino.
Yeah,
who was more than happy to oblige.
Fair enough.
And UAPB is not good.
I think they might be worse than Murray State.
Could be.
Murray State's a bad MVC team, and Pine Bluff's a bad SWAC team. So there's a difference there.
Yes, there is. I'm not worried about Arkansas yet. Let's see what that looks like when they get into the SEC, and then we can start worrying. But for now, your Tigers take the victory, 51-0. You can't win them all until you win the first one, and you just won the first one. They have a date with Buffalo next week. It's on SEC Plus, I think, is the TV channel. I think most things that you use should be able to access that. Of course, you can also just go to the game. But that one sold out too, right?
Not yet. I actually bought 3 Hill tickets this morning. I'm going to take the whole fam to that one. So they're limited, though. I mean, there's just a few hundred left. And by the time you hear this, it may be sold out. So get your tickets if you're thinking about the weather's going to be gorgeous. I think it's a high of 79. So by game time, it'll be 75. There's no excuse not to be there.
Yeah. And Buffalo did beat Lafayette last night. Not nearly as handily as Mizzou beat Murray State. So we'll don't use the transitional property here. Don't read anything into it. Just understand that Mizzou will be favored, and it should be a beautiful night. So go watch Tigers. Go watch them play. Hurst, final thoughts. What do you got?
It's back. Football's back. We're into it. We've got our toe dipped in the water, ready to jump in feet first. It might be another week or two before we can really get into things. But I'll take the toe in before versus the desert, which is what we've been living in.
Also, I am team take forever to find out anything about my favorite football team. I don't want to find out anything these first few weeks, and hopefully we don't. But that's the show for today. As always, we appreciate the downloads and the subscriptions. Leave a comment or rate us. We love all types of feedback from you all. You can follow us on Twitter at Matt and H.E. Edwards. He's at Burst to Hurst. And of course, you can follow the Rock M flagship at Rock M Nation and our podcasting outlet at Rock M Radio. We appreciate you tuning in this time. We'll try to do better next time. And until then, M-I-Z.
ZOU.
Dear Rock M Plus listeners, readers, and subscribers, we are thrilled to announce our first ever digital Mizzou football review magazine. Inspired by the iconic newsstand staples like Athlon, Phil Steele, and Street and Smith, our team has created a PDF file jam-packed full of content for you to learn about the most anticipated Missouri football season maybe in history. Checking in at about 100 pages, we have in-depth previews of all 12 opponents, analysis of each position group, profiles of newcomers, exclusive photographs, features like a retrospective on the 2014 team, the evolution of Faroe Field, Luther Burden's place in Mizzou history, and more. We also have an analytics Q&A with Bill Connolly of ESPN, the founder of Rock M, We also have college football preview content and much more. This digital magazine is available now. It is $15 for purchase, with discounts available for premium Rock M Plus subscribers based on your membership tier. $10 for monthly members, $5 if you have an annual membership. Now is the time to become a member to secure your discount on this one-of-a-kind product today. We know that you're going to love this magazine, and we can't wait to have it on your devices. MIZ.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Rock M Radio, a proud partner of Fans First Sports Network. Rock M Radio is the official podcast network of Rock M Plus, a new and exciting subscription service provided by me and the other voices of Rock M Radio. Please take a few moments to head over to rockm.plus and sign up for an account today. The cost is only $5 a month, and the benefits include access to our live podcast, a subscriber-only message board, weekly newsletters, and more. If you enjoyed this episode of Rock M Radio and would like to see more just like it beamed directly into your personal device, make sure to click the subscribe button below and tell your friends. Our podcast feed is available through the Apple Podcast app for iPhone, Google Podcast app for Android, whatever app you listen to your podcast. You can also find Rock M Radio on Spotify. If you're looking for a podcast about your favorite team that is not the Missouri Tigers, Fan First Sports Network is your answer. A full podcast network loaded with the team-specific podcasts covering Major League Baseball, the NFL, NHL, NBA, MLS, and more. We'll be back with more episodes of Rock M Radio coming to you soon.